US presidential election explained by Explanity Channel. Me as a German, I don't know too much about the political voting system, so I just want to learn more, and I have the video for that.
It's that time again. The United States presidential election is around the corner. Every 4 years, the American people decide whether a Democrat or a Republican gets to live in the White House for the next 4 years.
Yeah, and that's the first thing that's crazy to me, that you guys literally only have two parties to vote for. We in Germany have like 40 different parties we can vote for, and like I think in our parliament are in the moment like 7 or 8 different parties, which just gives you much more room to decide what you actually want to do with your vote and not just who I hate less.
But how exactly does the United States presidential election work? Well, to understand this, we have to take a closer look at the entire election year.
Okay.
It all starts with the primaries, in which Democrats and Republicans each decide who is going to be their presidential candidate.
Okay.
How the primaries work and who is eligible to vote in them varies from state to state. In some states, every registered voter is allowed to vote. In others, only voters registered with a particular party can cast a ballot in that party's primary.
Wait, so you can decide, you can vote before the election who is going to be the candidate of the party you're probably going to vote for. That's interesting. In Germany we don't even have that. That's like just the parties decide who's going to become chancellor.
Even the dates the primaries are held are different in each state, although there are some cluster primary dates. For example, Super Tuesday. On Super Tuesday, multiple states hold their primary. And it gets even...
Maybe I'm just stupid, but why don't make it like more centralized and just make one day where everyone has to vote? Isn't that like more efficient?
Complicated than that, because the people don't actually elect the presidential candidate directly.
Okay.
With
What?
their vote, they are technically electing delegates, who in turn will support a certain candidate. In a primary, each candidate is awarded a certain amount of delegates, or representatives, based on the amount of votes they receive. Those delegates will later vote their assigned candidate.
Okay.
Once the delegates from the various primaries have been awarded, you can already get a good sense of who will become the presidential candidate. However, the delegates don't officially vote for their candidates until the National Convention. In the end, a candidate must receive over half of the delegate votes to win the party's nomination. If no candidate receives over half...
Why do you need these delegates? Can't you just vote for them and they get the amount of percentage that they get votes? Or do they fulfill other purpose? But it seems to me that they are like a little bit irrelevant. They could just be replaced with just the voters, I think.
The delegate votes at the convention, the party renegotiates its entries into the presidential race.
Okay.
Additionally, sometimes candidates will end their presidential bids, and then the delegates will have to vote again. In that case, the delegates don't necessarily have to vote for their candidates again, but are now free to choose whomever they like.
What?
This procedure continues until a presidential candidate has been found.
Okay.
Once the two parties have officially chosen who is going head-to-head in the presidential race, the actual general election is held on the Tuesday after the first Monday in November. Registered voters over 18 get to vote for their president on that day. However, similar to the primaries, the president is not elected directly here either. The vote tally for each candidate determines how many electors are awarded to that candidate. These electors will then elect the candidate.
I know that it's called like the Electoral College, and that is, in my opinion, a really stupid system. Because it can happen that the candidate who gets the most votes doesn't win. And that was like in the 2016 election. Like with the year, 8th of November 2016, Donald Trump received almost 3 million votes less. But because of that system, he won. He became president. The other example, the 2000 election, where George W. Bush became president, although he got 500,000 votes less. I know that are like the only exceptions there are where that happened, but I mean, in a democratic system that shouldn't be allowed to happen, that the candidate with less votes wins the vote. At least in my understanding of democracy. But let's move on.
State has a different number of electors depending on how many people live in that state.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the electors cannot simply vote for the candidate they wish. In 48 of the 50 states, the elector tally is awarded winner take all.
Yeah, and
This
that's
means
like,
the winner of
I think that's exactly the problem that winner tally or whatever he said. That's the problem that causes that something can happen like 2016 or 2000.
that state gets all the votes from that state.
Yeah.
Let's say a state has 10 electors. If at the end of the voting day, the tally awards 6 electors to the Democratic candidate and 4 to the Republican, the Democrat has won the election in this state and gets all 10 votes, while the Republican gets nothing. The winner takes all.
I don't know who came up with that, but dude, that wasn't a great idea, really.
This is why in so-called swing states, states in which both parties have an equally high chance of taking the win, candidates are campaigning harder than in other states. It is hard to predict the electoral outcome pre-election in these states. There is a total of 535 electors.
Wow.
The candidate who can secure more than half of the electoral vote has won the election. This is why electors from the swing states are especially important. Once the electors have been awarded, it is basically clear who will be the next president of the United States.
Also, that's, again, you don't need 50% of the popular vote, you need 50% of the electoral vote, and that's the thing. Another example of that, the US presidential election from 1912. Okay, that's already a long time ago, but here you see again, Woodrow Wilson not even gaining close to 50% of the vote, but getting like 80% of the states and the electoral vote. And here we have again, that guy shouldn't have become president. There should have been, I think it's called a runoff or something, that's like Woodrow Wilson against Theodore Roosevelt, the two with the most votes. And not like, yeah, okay, you don't even have 50%, but you become president.
While officially the decision is only made by the Electoral College, which is the body made up of the awarded electors. This is usually 41 days after Election Day. On that day, the electors vote in their states. These votes are then counted in Congress around the beginning of January. And it is in Congress, too, where the next occupant of the White House is later officially announced. Finally, the inauguration of the next president takes place on January 20th to formally end the election year.
Okay, that was a very good video. Explained it very good. I would love to hear your thoughts on the entire topic. If you have another opinion or the same opinion or some things that were forgotten on the video, please tell me in the comments. I want to learn as much about the topic as I can. And yeah. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can click on the next video. It will be a similar reaction. Have a great day. Bye.